All right, welcome everyone to the Magnet Mind networking call. We do this monthly and we feature a Magnet 30 member who's on their path to mastery and who's doing something cool with their lives. And creating their own economy. And that one person this month is Larry Westwood. He is recently graduated. Yeah, would you say graduated with a certificate in human design? And I love human design. I think it is so cool. When I first heard about it, I just wanted to learn more and more and more and more and more because it was all about me and I love it. Larry, I am going to mute myself so you can share everything that you have to share with everybody. Would everyone mute themselves? Because I'm going to record this for Larry and share it on the website and do all those things. We will get to the point where we can ask questions of Larry at the end. But Larry, welcome. And so glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mary, for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm excited. I just received my Human Design Advanced Practitioner certificate. And like Mary, I had the same thing when I first heard about human design. I wanted to know more about human design. And so that's why I took um, the first class is just a brief, you know, intake basically, and then when you go to the advanced practitioner, obviously they dive deeper into human design, and then um, of course I'm going to share my screen and we can go into it.
We see it.
Perfect. I did it right. And what is human design? Human design is a unique system that helps you understand your personal energy and how you're meant to interact with the world. It's like a user manual for your life. And then we'll go to the next slide. Some of the impacts human design can have a profound lifelong impact on someone's life, even in their business, not just on themselves. It encompasses everything, I feel. If they choose to, that's the whole thing. It may resonate with you, and some of it may not resonate with you, which is okay. Human design is not here to tell you how to be. It is to show you what is possible and the potential of your story. So giving credit where credit's due. The magic of this knowledge is not learning it, it's living it. And Ra Uru Hu was the man that received all this on his journey and presented it to the world back in a long time ago, 79 maybe. Um, so what do you say? Human design, it's encompasses ancient wisdom, which is Eastern and Western astrology, Chinese I Ching, the Hindu chakra system, and it combines modern science, epigenetics, and quantum physics. Basic quantum physics, the quantum field, the unmanifested reality, what's available but not yet in form. Mental and emotional bodies. This is where you carry your conditioning, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, what you've been taught, from school to now. Everybody, I mean, anything you've been taught from your parents to, you know, anything. And what you repeat. Ooh, quantum field of infinite possibilities. Oops, sorry. So it's your unique blueprint, the story of who you are. Uh, Sorry about that. Your energetic blueprint. So this body graph, hopefully y'all can see it. Um, I don't know if I should zoom in. And it's not so much the graph that I want you to really focus on right now. It's the it, what it does is it shows your energy type. You're designed to interact with the world, and there's five energy types. Your strategy, the best way to make decisions and navigate life, and your authority, your inner guidance system for making choices. And then it goes on with your profile, what's your life's theme, and how to relate to others, and your centers. And these are the centers that are in the chart. All those are called the centers. There's nine of those. And areas of consistent energy, which are defined centers, the ones that are shaded, and then the areas that are undefined, they call them undefined centers, where you have an open influence. And that's not a bad thing. It's just you may perceive and receive openly versus somebody who's got a defined center. And your authenticity starts with three key areas in human design. That's your type. So we talked about five types. Well, we didn't talk about the five types. There's five types. That's your energy type, your strategy, and your authority. And the five energy types are the manifesting generator, generator, projector, manifester, and reflector. And there's a percentage. Manifesting generators are probably 70% of the population. Projectors are 20% of the population. Manifestors are 9% of the population. And reflectors are 1% of the population. So here's a slide of what I was talking about, energy versus non-energy defined. So you see the little orange block here, that's defined, and then the one to the right of that is undefined. Let's see. Went into slide 30, 31. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for us or pausing it. I'm going to slide to session 2. Here we go. And the five key benefits of understanding your type and your strategy. So when you understand your type and your strategy, you'll have reduce burnout, improve relationships, enhance self-awareness, reduce self-judgment, better boundaries. Oop. And what does authenticity mean? Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who you think you were supposed to be and embracing who you truly are. So again, the key areas are the type, strategy, and authority. So self-mastery starts with type, strategy. So now we'll go into the types, the five different types. Generator, the generators are the energy powerhouses, the life force giving cornerstones of society. That's Mary, I know. You'll see why when I go through this. Designed to respond to life, not initiate. Defined by sacral energy centers. Here to excite, delight, and inspire. She does, absolutely. Profound effect on groups and teams. Totally true. Her strategy, or a generator's strategy, would be to respond. They're here to respond to life rather than initiate. They're paralyzing their sacral center, which gives clear gut responses. Their yes would be a uh-huh, or a no, which would be uh-uh. And that comes from the gut. So you wait for your external cues, questions, opportunities, signs. Trust your sacral response. It tells you what's truly aligned. When you respond correctly, you feel satisfied and energized. When you act prematurely or force outcomes, you feel frustrated. So if you ever feel frustrated, then that's one of the signs. Success comes from mastering the art of waiting to respond and committing fully to what lights you up. And then we'll go into the misconceptions. Some of the misconceptions would be must hustle and work nonstop to be successful, should initiate ideas and go after what they want, are only valuable when being productive, need to find their purpose before taking action, should say yes to everything that gives them energy. That would be a burnout right there. The gifts of a generator: consistent and sustainable life force energy, magnetic to aligned opportunities when following joy, horses, powerful gut instinct for decision making, mastery through repetition and deep engagement, ability to energize and uplift others through satisfaction. So some of this may resonate with some of you and it may not. Um, some of it may resonate with Mary because she knows she's a generator. Manifesting generator, the dynamic hybrids, time benders of the collective. Yeah, that's Ryan. Multi-passionate and quick movers. They find shortcuts, collapse time, take quantum leaps. They bridge between manifestors and generators. They bounce between creative surges and grounded energy. Here to excite, stimulate, and innovate the collective. Their strategy is to respond, then inform. Respond like generators, but once clear, they benefit from informing others before taking actions to reduce resistance. So if you had a team of folks and you just took an action, but you didn't respond, I mean, if you didn't inform them, they might feel some resistance. So that might be one of the challenges that you might experience. Wait to respond. Don't initiate from the mind. Check your sacral response first. Once clear, inform the people affected before acting. Skip steps at your own risk. Slow down enough to stay aligned. Correct response is satisfaction and flow. An incorrect action would be frustration and anger. So if you're feeling frustration and anger, then, oh, that's the incorrect action. So you just get back on track. Many gens are here to move fast, but clarity comes from honoring each step. Respond, inform, act. Misconceptions of manifesting generators are unreliable because they change direction often. Should commit to one path and stick to it. Don't need to inform others before acting. Are just fast generators, not truly different. Can skip the wait to respond strategy. Manifesting generator gifts: fast, efficient, and able to get things done quickly. Multi-passionate with diverse skills and interests. Natural innovators who find shortcuts and streamline processes. Strong gut responses that guide aligned action. Ability to pivot quickly and stay in the momentum. And then we'll move on to a projector. The wise guides. They guide those around them through wisdom. They have a bird's eye view of systems and processes. Power lies in wisdom and how they share what they see. They create systems for action takers, and they have the laser focus on tasks. Their strategy is to wait for the invitation instead of initiate. So they're just waiting. They're like, hey, here to guide, lead, and advise, but only when they're recognized and invited. This applies to big life areas: love, career, collaborations, leadership. Wait to be invited into roles, relationships, or visibility. Focus on mastering your craft and being seen. Bitterness arises when you force your wisdom without invitation. So if you're getting some bitterness from some folks, you may, realize, oh, maybe that's not coming from the correct place. Success comes when others recognize your value and invite you in. When you wait for aligned invitations, you feel seen, successful, and respected. Your energy is precious, protect it. Some misconceptions are lazy or don't have enough energy to be successful. That's not true. Have to wait for invitations in every part of your life. So you're not having to wait for an invitation in every area, just the major ones. Should force themselves to work like generators. No, they'll burn out real fast. They're just not designed that way. Need to prove their worth by being recognized. Are only valuable if they're constantly guiding others. And their gifts, their deep insight into others and systems, natural guides, leaders, and strategists. Efficient and effective when working with the right people. Ability to recognize potential in others. Brings clarity and direction to teams and relationships. And then we're on to the manifester, the visionary, big picture thinkers, expand others' ways of thinking, natural born leaders, work in short, sharp bursts, unlike the generators where they can go all day or the mani gens. These folks work really hard, real short periods, and then they got to, take a little rest so that they can, recharge. They create big actions, visions, and plans. And sorry about that. Their strategy is to inform, here to initiate and impact. They don't need to wait, but they do need to inform others of their decisions to reduce resistance and foster smoother paths. They act on their internal urges, don't wait for permission. They inform those who will be impacted by their decisions. You're not here to be controlled. Freedom and autonomy are key. So if that resonates with some of you. Anger rises when you're blocked or not trusted. So if you're in anger, then um, you may not be trusted or blocked at that point. Trusting in yourself, not trusted by others, sorry. Peace comes when you initiate in alignment and inform well. You're a trailblazer. Informing keeps the peace so you can move freely. Misconceptions are aggressive, bossy, and domineering. Maybe you know some folks like that. I don't. Don't need to consider others when making decisions. Should wait for permission or respond like others. Don't benefit from informing. It's a waste of time. Don't need to support or connection from others. I think we all need some support and connection with others. That's why we're here. Manifestor gifts, powerful initiators who get things started, independent and self-directed with strong internal urges. They're the trailblazers who bring new ideas into the world, natural leaders who inspire action and movement. They create impact without needing permission or validation. And the last one is not last, but the reflector. These are the rare mirrors. These are the one percenters. They're highly sensitive to environments and people, so they pick other energy up from other energy types. Acts as a mirror for others in society, deeply empathetic and understanding, excellent at evaluating and providing perspective. They have the unique ability to see the truth in situations. They're natural counselors and advisors. Their strategy is a full lunar cycle, 28 days, deeply connected to the lunar rhythms and environmental influence. Wait 28 days before committing to major life choices. We're talking about major life choices, not day to day. What am I going to have for dinner? I'm not going to wait 28 days for that, but you know, just something, you're buying a new house or a car or something, maybe wait that 28 days. Sample life from many angles during that time. Surround yourself with aligned people and places. Your environment is everything. Disappointment happens when you rush or lose track of yourself. Surprise and delight arise when you align with the right flow. You are a mirror for the world. Give yourself time and space to gain clarity. Your perspective is a gift. The reflector misconception are too sensitive or emotionally unstable, should have a clear and consistent identity, can't make decisions without help from others, are meant to reflect everyone without boundaries, gotta have boundaries, are too rare to understand or work with effectively. Wonderful gifts, highly attuned to people and environments, unique perspective that offers deep wisdom, natural evaluators of community, health, and alignment, ability to amplify what's working and reflect what isn't, deep connection to the lunar and cosmic rhythms. All right, I'm going to pause. Let's see. Session two slide. There we go. Uh, let's see. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go into the 9 centers, and we talked about it earlier. Some will be defined and some are undefined. And oh, let me back that up. I don't know if you can see, you got the head, the ajna, the throat, the G center, the will center, the solar plexus, the sacral. So that's for the spleen, and then the root. And then you'll see like the head center, that's where you get your inspiration and understanding is the ajna. Communications in the throat. Trust comes in your G center. Motivation is your will. Your spleen, you will have an emotional intelligent. Um, and then the sacral, you might that's where your support is. And then, oops, sorry, your solar plexus is emotional intelligence, sorry, and your spleen is your intuition. And then the root would be your adaptability. And we'll go on those to pillar one, inspiration. That's your head center. Pressure center for thoughts. Inspiration generates questions and ideas. The ajna, sort of like your third eye, if you will. Certainty versus uncertainty, conceptualizing, processing information, value different perspectives, mutual understanding and acceptance of self and others. The throat centers your communication. Clear communication is kind communication. Authentic communication, express ideas and emotions. Safety in expressing thoughts and honesty. Honestly, sorry. Thoughts honestly. Pillar four, trust. That's your G center. Trust in identity and direction. Some call that the ego, I think. Trust and lovability, security and alignment. Feeling safe to change, not lose oneself and the other. Your will center, this is where you get all your power. Willpower and self-esteem, supporting others' goals and ambitions. Values about material and money. Willpower comes and goes, ability to will through. Pillar six is support. That's your sacral center. So for all sacrals, that's our uh-huh. Life force energy supports and recognition of each other's energy levels. Resilience to energy, highs and lows. Supporting each other's needs. Pillar seven is your emotional intelligence. Solar plexus center, managing emotions, emotional clarity, self-responsibility, empathy, and understanding for others and self. Different emotional dynamics. Pillar 8 is your spleen center, your intuition. Trusting instincts, reactive from fear versus reacting from a healthy instincts and intuition. Supporting one another's health, safe environment to share intuitive thoughts and instincts. Intuition can't be heard in chaos. And pillar 9 is the root center. That's your stress management, adapting to change, resilience, navigating life's challenges collaboratively, maintain balance and support. Let's see, I'm going to pause this. Let's see. Uh, and now we're going to go into the authority. Authority is there's 7 authority types in human design. You got your emotional authority, your sacral authority, your splenic authority, your ego, your self-projected, mental projector, and lunar. And the authority helps us with authentic design decision making, reducing stress, increasing confidence, better outcomes, resistance to conditioning, improved relationships, life purpose alignment. And emotional authorities, 50% of the population has this authority. Those with emotional authority experience a wave of emotions that need to be ridden out before making big decisions. So you're going to have a high, and then you're going to have a low. And then once you go through the high and low, once you're even, then that's when you make your decision. It's about waiting for emotional clarity rather than being reactive. Don't let indecision or procrastination keep you stuck, though. The sacral authority is found in generators and manifesting generators. That's me. It's an intuitive gut response. That's the uh-huh. A physical sensation of either excitement, yes, or deflation, no. Operates on a moment-to-moment basis, responding to life as it happens. Is about trusting your body's immediate response to opportunities and questions. Splenic authority, in the moment, instinctual authority, connected to our survival instincts and operates in the now. Those with splenic authority need to trust their immediate intuitive hits, feelings, and knowing. If they hesitate or try to rationalize, they may lose touch with their authentic decision-making process. Ego authority, about willpower connected to the heart center. Make decisions based on whether they have the willpower to follow through. It's committing to what you know you can handle and being honest about your capabilities and desires. Speaking from your heart is crucial. This aligns your intentions with your authentic willpower. Self-projected authority. Unique to projectors with specific channel activations. It involves speaking out loud and listening to oneself. Hear your own voice. The right decision becomes a clear, thorough through the process of verbal self-expression and self-listening. Mental authority. Mental projectors have no consistent inner authority. They rely on their mind for decision making. They benefit greatly from soundboarding with someone they trust to let them speak it out. Who they speak to is very important as well. It's about gathering information, sharing it with trusted people, and soundboarding. Lunar authority. These are exclusive to reflectors only. It involves waiting through a full lunar cycle, the 28 days before making significant decisions. Observe how they feel about the decision in different environments and with different people, ultimately leading to clarity. So the difference is making decisions from fear versus trust. Your nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So that's our conditioning. Living your best life through type, strategy, and authority. And that's it for that one. And if we have time, Mary, I was gonna use Rhine as my subject.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, to go a little deeper in human design is a system. It's a fascinating tool. Human design revolves around understanding an individual's unique energy signature and design characteristics. The value of human design is everyday life lies its ability to help people better comprehend themselves, recognize their natural strengths and weaknesses, and gain insight into personal decision-making processes. So Ryan volunteered. This is his chart. So we talked about defined and undefined. So his head center is undefined, which may get influence from other folks. Not a bad thing. It's just that's his gift. And then his ajna is defined. And then his um, throat is defined as well. His heart is undefined. His will center is undefined. His spleen is undefined. His sacral is defined. That's where he gets his uh-huh, uh-huh. And then, sorry, his uh, sacral. And then his root is undefined. So when you're undefined, then you get some outside influences versus defined. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the way he was designed, not he, but that's the way it was designed. And as we talked earlier, he's a manifesting generator. So manifesting generators, they are just, I mean, they're multi-talented. And his authority is the emotional authority. Only in emotional clarity do you make good decisions that are in alignment with yourself. For you, there is no truth in the present moment. Therefore, you never make significant decisions spontaneously, but give yourself at least one night to sleep on them. So that's that wave. Your current mood influences your perception. You need time to ride the highs and lows of your emotional wave. Only then will clarity be achieved, even though it may never feel 100% certain. So even though, you feel 90%, that's still, you know, your decision making right there. Um, and I didn't go into the profiles because that would go into deeper and that would take a much deeper um, chart reading. And then instead of going with all the defined centers, again, that would just take a lot of time for us to go through. But that gives you a brief overview of human design.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
thought so.
Larry. So,
You're
Larry,
welcome.
what made you decide to, I know it's cool, but besides that, what made you decide to go into human design and become a practitioner?
So for myself, when I discovered I was uh, my energy type is a manifesting generator, manigen we call. I had those high and lows of these of the. Ooh.
I
of
did
the
that.
emotions. I had the highs and lows of the emotions, and I thought there was something wrong with me. My wife would, say, "You're so emotional," or "There's something wrong with you." She would just, and I thought for the longest time, I was like, "Yeah, why am I so emotional?" So when I heard that, I was like, "Man, that sounds like me." And then when I got my chart and I started reading it, it really resonated with me. It was like, oh yeah, I do that, but I'm not broken. Originally myself, I thought, man, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. I gotta, figure this out. And figuring it out was just, you know, going through my chart and reading the chart and realizing that the things that I innately do are just, they're okay. That's just part of my energy type. It's part of my strategy and my authority. And what really helped was to actually ride those emotional waves and not, because for me, when she would mention that, my wife, when she would mention my highs and lows, I would get discouraged at myself having these lows, but I have to even enjoy those lows when I'm in the low and not, say, oh, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You're just in your low um, state at that point. And it's not low as in a bad thing. It's just you've got a high and a low, and then it evens out. So for me, that was a big you know, enlightenment for, it just, and then when I started going deeper into the other um things that Manny Gens do, it was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Um
Mhm.
and it just it resonated, and so that's what led me to go into deeper and just discovering more about my gifts and using those gifts, and the centers that are undefined, that oh yeah, I can get some influence from external sources as well, realizing that I'm not broken. It's just that's how that energy type is. You can get some influence. It's not a bad thing. It's just that's what it is. And knowing how to take those on and say, oh, okay, that's just, I'm getting that energy from someone else, somebody else's energy, and I don't have to take that on. So I was doing that with my wife. I was taking on her energy. I was taking on every time she had an issue. I had to realize, oh, that's her energy, you know, and I would just have to let her ride out her energy. So that's exactly what led me to doing, human design. It's just it was so intriguing that, you know, finally realizing, hey, you're not broke, dude.
Well, and I think that you have the potential to be able to give a lot of people that understanding, hey, you're not broken,
That's right.
because of your own experience. I think that that's really remarkable. So, where do you see your business as you grow your economy? What do you see happening?
So, I also, going through human design, I've also discovered neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And Sophie, um, she's definitely one of the NLPers, um, and she can relate. But NLP and human design, I think for me, putting those two together and helping folks, guide folks to their energy types and to guide them to discover that, you know, if you have a limiting belief, that you can remove that limiting belief and put a belief that you do desire. With those two, I think um, I see myself um, helping, millions of folks just discovering that they're not broken either. And even if you had a limiting belief when you were younger and from someone told you were not worthy or something like that, using NLP will also, you can remove those I'll say blocks, for lack of a better term. You can remove those blocks and instill a habit or a thought or a something that you do like. Some people say, well, I'm not worthy or I can't make money or whatever. replacing that and showing them the tools with NLP that you can do whatever you choose to do, and you're not just limited to what somebody told you and what the world told you. Maybe your teacher told you you're not going to make something of yourself. You're just a loser, you know. You might as well just stay, or even your work. Here I'm just, you get so I get complacent just doing what I do, but I'm much more than that, and I can offer much more than that through my experiences and by gaining the awareness through human design and NLP. And I see that taking off in a larger scale, not just an office where I'm in NLP and HD, you're interacting with folks and giving them the tools, and they're actually doing it themselves. I'm not doing anything other than giving them the tools and showing them, hey, you can do this yourself. It's not me. I'm not, like prescribing anything other than a tool, and it's up to that individual, that man or woman, if they want to use that tool. If they don't want to use that tool, or if they don't want to, some of that's energy, human design. Some of those energies may not even resonate with some folks. You know, it just may not
Mhm.
be something that you know, you were experiencing. Maybe your mother or father had a different energy type and they projected that energy type on you, and you couldn't be that manifesting generator like myself. Oh man, you're just too, like when I was going through school, I was all over the place, man. I was just doing everything because that's how I generally am. And I'm staying up till midnight. My parents thinking, what the heck's wrong with you? And your teachers, hey, this kid's just too antsy. We're gonna have to send him to a different school because he needs to do this or that, because he just can't focus. And I just had many different desires and interests that sitting in one seat too long just wasn't for me. And going through all those years till 57, you discover that, you're not broken, man. That was just you. That was your energy type, and if if kids knew about different energy types and knew that they weren't broken, then they would probably have a different attitude in life in general and maybe not feel so depressed. I mean, there's a lot of young folks out there that are depressed, and I'm thinking, why? But the why is probably because they're told not to, you're a manager and you can't just sit in a chair for 5 minutes and try to, you're gonna have to get up for a little bit and move around, or at least I am.
Well, and I think that begs a deeper discussion because there's so many, um, so many, well, you can't fit everyone into the same hole,
Mold.
right?
No.
You can't do it. And there are so many kids and people who are misunderstood and told to fit into this this box and
Right.
they don't. And instead of maybe having to prescribe drugs for instance, maybe having an understanding of what this is, that maybe it has to do with this. Maybe we should go here first.
Correct. Totally agree. Oh yeah. Yeah, instead of prescribing, I mean, my son, case in point, he's a manny gen just like I am. And, he couldn't sit in class either. And unfortunately, my second wife, his mom, um, you know, her go-to, and I'm not faulting her, but that's what she was programmed to believe as well. Go to the drugs and the doctors and, see therapists, and then they prescribe all these drugs to keep that energy down when,
Fix him, right?
yeah, fix him
Yeah,
and he's
and
not
he's
even
not
broken.
broken,
That's just his
right?
energy type. So if
Yeah.
they could understand his energy type and say, "Oh, let's do it this way," maybe they wouldn't have all those kids on those drugs,
Hmm.
and they would just be more themselves.
Hmm. I think Larry needs to write a book. I think Larry needs to write an ebook coming to apply to mastery. Let's go. Because I think you have a winning combination of human design and NLP because that would be spectacular. And then as a manifesting generator and your experience with your son, I think you have a really cool niche and you can really get in there and talk to open-minded schools. Maybe they're private schools, maybe they're
Private
charter
school.
schools, maybe something like that to help
Right.
educate the educators, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely.
we need to talk.
I feel it. In
As a
the
generator. That's funny.
yeah,
Does anybody else have questions for Larry? I've been monopolizing the conversation.
uh,
Anyone? Go ahead, Ryan.
So, for everybody's edification that's here and watching the replay, you mentioned early on, and I just wanted to clarify. So, 70% of everybody is either a generator or a manifesting generator, correct?
correct.
Okay. And then the other 30% is broken down into the projector and manifester, and only 1% are reflectors.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I would how would someone figure out which one they are? How can you help someone do that?
So the first thing would be to um, get your name, your birth date, location, and birth time. The birth time is important. Um, so if you don't know your birth time, I would suggest finding it on your birth certificate, maybe getting a kinesiologist, say that 10 times real fast, kinesiologist to help narrowing that down because um, in human design that is very important. It could mean um, different um, it might even push you into a different energy type. So having that, the name, the location, the date, and the time are key elements in producing a chart. And then once I have that information, I can run that chart and then I can send it to you and then you can look it over yourself. And then if you had questions, um, I think awareness, just being aware of your energy type would relieve. And that was what did it for me was just being aware of my energy type, saying, oh, not even going so deep into all the centers and the undefined centers, just knowing that awareness allowed me to say, hey, I'm not broken, and that changed my attitude internally. That day, I am much happier with myself now than I was then trying to figure out what was wrong with me when there was nothing wrong with me. It was just I had a different energy type than, everybody around me or some folks around me. Some of them were definitely many gens, but yeah, running that chart would be the start. Um, and no matter, it doesn't matter where you were born, it's just getting that city and state, the date and time is crucial in getting an accurate chart. And then I could, once I get that chart, I could even email it to you. You could look it over if you wanted to talk about your chart. We could do that. If you didn't want to talk about it, that's up to you as well. It's just, I'm here for awareness. Whatever you do with the tools, that's up to you. There's no, you've got to do it this way. And some of those, even when you're reading it over, it may not resonate with you because you may have had influence from school, other folks that would keep you in that box, like Mary was talking about. Oh, we just got to keep him in this box. Yeah. So, but that's the first start was, getting um your birth date details and the time and place.
Good. Go ahead, Allie.
Hi everyone. So I missed a lot of your presentation, Larry. Sorry, I a lot of things as always.
It's
But
okay.
I have worked with human design. I mean, I was part of a course, and they did that. And find it, as you say, extremely liberating. I don't know, like it's really relieving once you know your energy type, and yeah, you don't kind of blame yourself or punish yourself for having some characteristics. And of course, you can use all of that to your own advantage, and
Absolutely.
like with a compassion and with love, and like try to direct that energy in the best way you can. Something that was very interesting for me, because I was doing this as part of like for our business, my husband and me. And something that was super cool was that there are also connection charts, and we did this connection chart together, and it shows, like, what each of the people in that team adds to a dynamic. And it was really funny reading all of that, because I was reading what I was adding and what my husband was adding, and it was super, like, exactly the dynamics that we have. But it also helped us have even more clarity. So I think this is incredibly useful, not only in our personal lives, which is already huge, but even in business. How we communicate with our audiences, how everything, because that way we don't need to force these dynamics. I'm a projector, and I know I have to wait for the invitation. So although of
Yes.
course I can reach out to people, and so I also need that people see that value without forcing anything, and that's the way I flourish. So I think it's incredibly useful. So thanks for talking about this.
You're welcome, and thank you for your insight. Yeah, absolutely. Going deeper into having those connections with workmates, or people that you work with, or such as you and your husband working together in a business, that dynamic there, knowing, their energy type and knowing yours and saying, oh, that's okay. He's in his emotional wave or whatever. Um, then you get to understand and have compassion for what they're feeling. I think that's amazing. I'm glad that you did that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And that's a deeper dive, but yeah, the potential is so great for groups and for even couples. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes, because it was literally for a business where entrepreneurs, and we had to understand the way that we talk to the people that we talk to, and which people we want to connect with the most, and all of that. And so it was super, super, super useful. But all of us here, we have a lot of dreams. Uh, Also, not only like in our team, but as ourselves as entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a super useful tool. So yeah.
Yes, it is. I agree. Useful, very useful.
Well, and I think it's important too to understand, it helps you understand that people are different. And
Yeah.
not just me as this is how I work, but there are all these other types of people who work in a different way, and they're programmed, literally programmed, like genetically programmed a certain way. But here's one thing that I really understood is that those, you know, we can improve. So for instance, I have an undefined root, right?
Sure.
And that just meant for me that I had to find something that really grounded me. And I did, horses, hello. But that's what it makes so much sense that I had to find something for me that I needed to find, right? And that's why it's so clear that, hey, Mary, I mean, ever since I was 6, go get a horse, right? And I finally caught on. But that's it. There was this inner pull saying you need this in your life. And now I know why,
Right. And if
right?
we get influenced by others around us saying, what do you want horses
Grow
for?
up. Every girl wants a pony,
That's
right?
right. Grow up. Horses are for, whatever the excuse is for anything. But yeah, that awareness is huge
Hmm.
when you discover that. It's like, oh man, this is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, does anybody else have any questions for Larry? That was so cool. Larry, I think we need to talk about your applied mastery stint. Yep. Ryan,
Yes, we
yeah.
do.
Yeah, I have a call with you tomorrow, Larry.
Yes, you do.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, we all know each other, so thank you all for being here on this call. And you know what I really like about this is that it gives people like Larry and everybody really a an opportunity to start, right? Start giving a workshop, start sharing with a familiar group what you know, right?
That's
So
right.
Allie, you're gonna be getting something from me soon. So I love that you're all willing to one, listen, two, support, and three, be a part of this. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you have any
Yes.
closing remarks, Larry, that you want to share with anybody?
I just want to say thank you, everyone that was here. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate all the feedback and the interaction. I really do, and I just want to say thanks for that.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you. And
You're welcome.
everybody, we'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.